So this whole ideal of call out culture by so many anti-social justice warriors are driving me up the wall. Earlier today, during my free time between classes, I was in a computer lab. I saw a tweet some girl had put out there about biracial privilege. I searched it through the search engine of Twitter. I just happened across her tweet, and she's like, "Look what I found on biracial privilege," and started putting emoticons of her laughing. And I looked at the screenshot, and it was like biracial privilege is not being stopped by the cops and not being perceived as black like other black people. And it was basically saying that you're not looked at as black as others. You don't get the anti blackness that other black people get. And then another slide said that biracial privilege especially works if you are racially ambiguous or light skinned or white passing, where you are more assimilated in non black spaces. Non blacks accept you more, especially if you are half white, than those who are monoracial and not mixed race. So the other two slides seemed legit, but I didn't agree with the first slide. So I just sent her a non confrontational message like, yeah, the first slide is crud, but I agree with the second two. This fucking light skinned biracial girl gonna come at me like, are you biracial? If not, then don't sit there and talk about my experience. Who was talking about your experience? I said I didn't agree with the slides that said that you didn't get racially profiled or that you didn't get anti-blackness at all. What the fuck? I was defending you. Really? I don't expect cookies from that, but why can't you comprehend that? You just mad because I didn't agree with the other slides. You just mad because in spite of the fact that I acknowledge that you are black, you're mad that there's conditions with that, such as your light skin privilege, such as your biracial privilege. And it's always someone with the curly hair, with the little natural curly hair, and someone with light skin talking about I'm a proud black woman, yet they want to deny their biracial privilege and then say you don't know what it's like to be biracial. Do you know what it's like to be black and just black, where you don't have the choice whether you want to identify as black or not? Do you? Of course you don't. Anyway, I was trying to be nice because I'm trying to do this new thing where I'm not going to always call out every black person in the most antagonistic way, even though after that whole ordeal, I'm going to start doing that again because people aren't going to listen to me either way. Well, you could have just been nice about it. No, because when I am nice about it, people get more aggressive. Over time, she was like, but those are inaccurate descriptions of privilege. No, it's not. It said what it said. That as a biracial person, you are more accepted in non-black spaces than those who are monoracial. She's like, but you don't know my experience. You could have asked me before you started talking about privileges. Before you know privilege, you need to do your research. Bitch, you think I should do a research on you? On your privilege? Why? Why do these people always think that we should know what it's like to be white or light skinned or biracial to get a clue that they have privilege? You know how we know? Because of how we are treated juxtaposed to you. And I sent her reasonable tweets. Wasn't cursing her out, wasn't calling her out her name. She was the one undermining my intelligence. She kept saying, but I don't agree. Then she's like, white people never accepted me. Something totally irrelevant. I said, I welcome you. I just don't welcome people who deny their privilege or perpetuate colorism or bias between biracial and monoracial blacks, where biracial black people are treated as better than those who are monoracial, especially if they are light skinned with so-called good curly hair and the physical characteristics of what it is to be biracial versus someone who is visibly black. Come on. And it really pissed me off because I was really trying to have a conversation because I thought she said she wanted a conversation. She basically said, if you want a real conversation about privilege, then I am welcome. Just don't make assumptions. Who was making assumptions? You sent out a tweet with a screenshot that was basically talking about biracial privilege and how I said that it was a little bit wonky and cruddy because it was saying that biracial blacks don't face any type of police brutality, or that they don't face anti-blackness, or that non-black people don't look at them as black, which that is ahistorical. Of course they look at them as black, but their blackness is considered acceptable. And then she's like, well, you're not biracial, so you can't speak on my experience. Why do privileged people always feel the need to say that? Oh, well, you're not privileged, so you don't know what it's like to be privileged. Yeah, because I am disadvantaged compared to you. You know, both of us are light-skinned black girls, or we appear with the same aesthetics. I am maybe a little bit darker than her, but in our pictures, you know, because I have the curly hair and she had the natural hair, we do look similar. So when it comes to certain hairstyles that I wear, I am aware of how people perceive me. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of how people perceive me versus if I wear my hair out natural. But at the same time, we had similar aesthetics. So I'm not going to pretend like I don't have her physical privilege in a way, but I'm not going to act like being one who has two black parents is the same as one who has one non-black parent, biologically speaking, because I know about transracial adoptions and all that. But I am talking about being a biologically biracial child where you are looked at as someone genetically superior. And we talked about this before in my last video, actually, how when it comes to race mixing in POC communities, it's to better the race. It's to whiten out the race. Basically, when people talk about racial mixing in a black community, it's not so much talking about pro-tolerance or pro-acceptance and pro-brownness. It's more so talking about de-blackenizing the race, de-blackitating the race, to basically say, hey, we're going to race mix so we don't have to worry about racism, because in order for racism to end, we can just de-blackenate everyone and make them as light as possible, like that ignorant National Geographic magazine talking about how in 2015 we're going to look like Rashida Jones. Sweetie, I like the way I look now. So what you talking about? But this girl was basically being rude as fuck. She was basically saying that she didn't really care and that I was wrong and that she wasn't going to listen. And finally I said, the problem is people like you, okay? I said, K. The problem is people like you who don't want to listen, who don't want to understand, who just wants to have this ideal that my privilege is something that only I can debate and not you. Because later on, after she blocked me, I don't know why she blocked me, because I wasn't rude. I was very polite with her. You know, I was very understanding, but bigots are like that. They don't care. She's clearly a bigot. I don't care if she's going to put on her header, I am a proud black woman. Bitch, are you kidding me? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. The fact that she wants to talk about how she gets angry black woman stereotypes, but you still a lighty, you still light skinned with the curly hair, and you are still biracial. I don't care if people look at you as an angry black woman. How are you going to defend that when you are next to a dark skinned black woman and she's getting deemed ghetto and a hood rat, and you just standing there like the delicate light-skinned black woman who's biracial, the delicate mixed woman, because being mixed and monoracial, there is this ideal that being mixed, you're more delicate and victimized than one who is monoracial. The Trudes talked about it a lot on her blog, Radiant Layer, and also online, where she talks about how mixed women like to pull this delicate card against black women who aren't mixed. A lot of people do that. So I just didn't understand why people have an issue with being called out. I don't know what the fuck her problem was. but that really made me mad because I wasn't even rude about it. I wasn't even rude about the white girl from White Gods who made a post about why White Gods was okay when it clearly wasn't okay. And I was trying to tell her about how black girls don't feel beautiful enough and that she sees girls like her on TV or in the magazines every day, and she just blocked me. But then she's the type to say I'm not like those other racist people, but then when the going gets tough, let's blame black women and say that, hey, black women are just mad because we are taking their men, their property, apparently, because blackness is something that should be owed to white people. And white people, especially white women, feel that certain people, like black men, are owed to them. And it's just the ideal that a white woman wants to be in a black woman's space, where in their heads, it should be that black men should value their own women and their own culture, at least his hetero ones. But then white women can come into their space and take that away from black women. It's not so much that it's true, it's just the fact that white women feel compelled to pretty much monopolize everything that they believe should be granted to black women, theoretically. And she blocked me and blocked a bunch of people. And the same thing with this girl, the biracial boy from last night that I was arguing with. Again, polite. He didn't block me, but he just said, cool, whatever. Why are people so obtuse? I don't understand why people can't just open up their minds and listen. They always talk about how opinions are important, but then when your opinion is too tough for them, suddenly it's like your opinion does not matter. Why? Anyway, I forgot to add this in my last video, but Rhonda told Andre that she was pregnant when Andre was trying to call the police to help Vernon. Rhonda's like, baby, no, don't you tell the police, I'm pregnant. I was like, damn it. I knew they were going to make Rhonda pregnant. I knew they were going to have the interracial couple pregnant. Then they're going to have the biracial child. And I was like, God. Nothing about this seems like it's going to go well. Unless you make Rhonda unless you make Rhonda really redeemable. I don't know how I feel about this pregnancy thing, because I say this because I don't feel like white people that I feel are iffy or low-key racist deserve mixed children, or any type of child for that matter, but they especially do not deserve black, mixed, or brown children. And I don't know how I feel about Rhonda, who has been gross on a couple of occasions having an obviously mixed race child. For the love of God, you better make Rhonda likable next season, because I don't like this at all. And I said on my post, someone else's post, about praying for Northwest because she is a biracial baby being raised by Kanye West and Kim K. I said, yeah, I understand the sentiments, but I don't really like how people are more so condescending the child than the actual parents. I'm worried about the child, but my issue is with the parents. If you really cared about the child, you would talk about how we are going to improve environments for biracial children, their mental stamina, especially if they identify as black. How are we going to help them? How are we going to make people aware of toxic parents? That's what I want people to be aware of. Toxic and abusive parents with brown and mixed race children. I don't want to act like, this child is raised by a white family, or they have a white parent, or this child has two toxic parents, so obviously they're going to be just as screwed up as them. No, I'm not going to think like that. What I'm going to do is chastise the parents and say, I hope their child is okay. I really pray for their child. I hope, they are in a safe environment. That's how I feel when I say I just hope they are safe. I just hope that they find a way to get away from that toxic environment, or at least do not attribute such toxic ideologies or internalize such anti-blackness that I feel a lot of biracial children do internalize when it comes to having an anti-black white mother who is misogynistic and an anti-black father who also hates black women. But I don't want to say it's everyone because, of course, it's not always true. It's not always the case. From my experience with biracial friends, their mothers are nice. I know grown ass women with biracial children who are very sweet, who are awesome, who basically the reason why they have black boyfriends or associate with black men is because they have black girlfriends that they've grown up all their lives, and they basically meet black men via proxy of their black girlfriends. They hang out and they meet the black guys and they just hang out, so it's more so of a social type of thing versus, oh, I'm a white girl and I just realized I love black guys and I want mixed children after I never thought about it before. I just want to piss off my daddy. And that's basically where that stems from. There are white women who genuinely like black people in a way that they view them as humans. They like black men and black women. They respect black men and black women. I also think that a lot of people don't realize that maybe there are black women who aren't straight that may have a hard time finding white women because of the fact that there are so much misogynistic sentiments in them that they may fetishize black women. And I also notice when it comes to film and mask, it's the same thing where white and lighter skinned women would date a masked black woman or a dark skinned black woman, but then hate a femme dark skinned black woman. It's basically something that I see a lot, and it's very problematic, but I can't really speak on that. But that's what I see. So I think when we talk about the relationship between a black woman and a white woman, we also need to intersect with those who are on the LGBTQIA spectrum, because in the dating world for black women who aren't interested in men, I feel like it is talked about, but that's something that other people should bring to light, that it's not just a black man and a white woman thing. It could just be a black woman and a white woman thing, where it's like so many film black women may have a disconnection with white women as well. You know what I mean? But like I said, Rhonda, I just hope either Rhonda is lying or Rhonda isn't a racist. I hope they really bring up the whole black woman and white woman thing, where why a white woman would date a black man and how a black woman feels about that. And I just hope Rhonda isn't the type to really hate on a black woman, because if she has a biracial child, she has a biracial child. That child is here, and I love children. I love children more than anything in the world. I don't care who your parents are. If you are a good, cute little innocent child, you're awesome. I have friends who don't have the best type of parents, so I'm not going to assume that every biracial child who has an iffy or problematic white parent, especially a white mother, is going to grow up to be an asshole, even though they may internalize such anti-black sentiments. Which I wanted to talk about how in Logic's song Mixed Feelings, he said something really interesting. I was born to a racist. Well, he said I was born to a black man, born to a racist. I was like, whoa, because I was not expecting that. I thought he was going to say a white woman, but he's like, no, I was born to a racist, because I think he really shines a light into how just because you have a biracial parent, just because you are biracial with a white parent, doesn't mean that your white parent is some loving humanitarian who cares about black people, and that's a reality that a lot of biracial children come up from abusive households because their parent is racist, and they may have some regrets of ever having a mixed child, and that's very unfortunate, and child abuse makes me angry. Oh, okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about what I heard yesterday about this man named Jay Smooth and Nancy Giles. I believe I've heard of Nancy Giles, but I've never heard of Jay Smooth. I don't know who the fuck that is. I just saw him recently because on Twitter, people were talking about how this brown-skinned black woman, Nancy Giles, teased him because she didn't know that he was a black man. He is a very racially ambiguous man who can pass for white. And she said, I feel that you co-opt blackness. I feel that you talk black. And it's kind of funny for a man being who you are. And he's like, I'm actually black, but you just assumed. And apparently it was supposed to be lighthearted. She wasn't really trying to be rude about it, even when she thought that he was white. And he didn't seem too upset about it, but then people made a big deal. And I feel misogyny and colorism has a lot to do with it. I feel this is just a way to pretend like light-skinned black people are the victims of being antagonized by these mean, dark-skinned, exclusive people who just don't want to accept them. I feel like they are trying to make this an episode of reverse colorism. And they apparently took it out of context. But how are you going to chastise a brown-skinned black woman for thinking that a racially ambiguous man who can pass for white or something non-black, like, where they do that at? How are you going to do that? How are you going to, like, get mad at her because she mistook him for something that isn't black because he looks the way that he looks? How is she supposed to know? It would be one thing if she were someone who was non-black that said, oh, you talking black and you know, you ain't black, you know, and he would have been like, I'm black. And then they would still say, well, I'm blacker than you. You're not really black. That's different. But to act like every black person should be able to spot out who's one of them and who is not is just disingenuous. I can't even stop preaching how it's disingenuous to act like black people should know everything. No, she didn't have to know that he was biracial and that he just looked white. Like, how was she supposed to know? That happens a lot where someone may think, oh, you're white. Oh, actually, I'm mixed. Oh, okay. I'm black. Oh, okay. And apparently she didn't even try to question his identity. She kind of brushed it over, and people are basically narrating her as this bimbo, dark-skinned black woman who picked on this white-passing black man. Oh, she should have known, this stupid woman. And that's basically what I am getting from the whole thing. People are generally just like, wow, this is awkward. But why are you being so harsh on her, especially if she is a woman who will be marginalized more than this white-passing man? How? I have nothing against Jay Smooth. He seems awesome because apparently Chester Lee likes him and that he says a lot of interesting things. And even though I've never heard of him, it would have been suspect if it says that he's a hip-hop host and he talks about race issues, especially blackness. That would have been a little bit suspect, like maybe he's light-skinned. But a lot of people thought he was white as well. So I don't know what's the big deal other than the fact that they are just upset that a brown-skinned black woman dare tease this light-skinned black man. Like, how dare this black woman make a joke against this black man, especially one who is light-skinned, because of light-skinned black male privilege, which is very real. A lot of people believe light-skinned black men are somehow emasculated, therefore they don't have privilege over dark-skinned black men, which that's a lie. So light-skinned male privilege is real. Light-skinned black men are the most privileged men in the black community. And for people to make it out to be like she's some bimbo who should have known that he was a black man made me feel some type of way. And then I mentioned Joseph Gordon-Levitt added his 2 cents about it, but I don't think he really did. I at first thought that he was basically congratulating Jay Smooth on apparently slamming the black woman. That's how they made it out to be, like, oh yeah, that man really shut that stupid woman down. That's basically what I got. So when he said, oh, this discussion on race and all of this. This is very interesting. Well done, Jay Smooth. I honestly thought he was saying well done, like well done for putting that bitch in her place, but he didn't. So that was my mistake. I have nothing against JGL. I just felt like, wow, did he really try to have an opinion on colorism? I understand that he's Jewish and I don't want to mispronounce it. Ashkenazi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I believe socially a lot of Jewish people who may appear as white aren't considered white, especially when it comes to how race is a social construct. So I was just suggesting that maybe he may understand a little bit about racial ambiguity because of the way that he looks, because a lot of people think that he may be biracial or maybe someone who is of Asian descent because of his appearance. So maybe that was where he was coming from, and he was like, oh yeah, cool, like I understand. And I wasn't saying like he didn't have any privilege being one who appears white even though he is Jewish, but I didn't want to just make it like, oh, this white man is talking about colorism and race, what does he know? And this is a Jewish man who may not be socially considered white. So I didn't want to just say anything and make it like I am discrediting Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because I do like him. He seems like a genuine person. I don't see anything problematic other than the fact that girls only started wanting to be a feminist. Well, not all girls, but it seemed like so many girls were like, oh my God, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a feminist? Now I want to be a feminist. What about Beyonce being a feminist? What about even Emma Roberts or Emma Watson being a feminist? Didn't that make you want to be a feminist? You have to wait until a man says that feminism is cool before someone with internalized misogyny has to jump on a bandwagon. And I'm not trying to comfort anyone. I just feel like people became more aware of feminism because he made that video. And I just feel like, I'm not saying that it's his fault, but it just wasn't right how people took him seriously over the many girls who have made videos about feminism. I still haven't watched Girl Code, but that really seems like a good show. It seems very intersectional, where it doesn't just talk about white girls and their girl problems, but black girls and their black girl problems. And they talk about being pretty for a black girl. So that seems like a really good show, and I have not watched it still. By the way, my roommate moved out, and I am pissed off that she left her dirty ass trash there. She didn't bother like cleaning her side of the room very neat. She just left some little remnants in her on that side. So I'm gonna have to clean it out because I'm a neat freak. And I'm just so pissed off that, I mean, she moved some things around the bathroom. She moved my makeup bag into this area, but other than that, she didn't really do a good job cleaning up her side before she left, because I came back and I just saw everything gone. And apparently I scared her away, even though she had a nerve to complain about how I needed to clean up my bathroom. But come on, I keep my side of the room clean. Does this look like a dirty side? Come on. Let's see. Does this look dirty to you? Does any of this look dirty to you? And too bad that she doesn't really, she doesn't live here no more. But this is basically what it looks like. There's some stuff there, but yeah, I'm just whatever. It's kind of lonely because this is like the third roommate who just bailed on me. It's kind of depressing. Oh well. Well, my last roommate ended up getting an apartment, so no biggie. But my other roommate from 2013 to 2014 moved because I was too annoying, because she kept playing video games and I would get mad and sort of bang on the wall or something, or like at least hit it like this, you know, to basically say, hey, like quiet down, something like that. And I didn't think she noticed, but she did. And she was talking shit on Facebook. And when I came back to the room drunk, she felt the need to write a status about it. Her mom called me a drunk Even though I came back drunk one time, I've never been drunk before. I've always been in my room, just on my computer, minding my business. But you felt the need to call me a bully because my sisters came up and called you out for talking shit. Because you said that it's bullying for me to confront someone that talks shit about someone online, but then it's okay to call me a drunk online. Like, you fucking ass white bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. But this roommate left who is black. You saw her in my Empire review video for a little bit, but she was cool at first. I was like, oh yay, a black roommate. But then, she didn't seem very friendly. Like, she never seemed like she liked the room, like she had an attitude and it was too small for her. And like, I wanted to be cool with her, but it just seemed like we just had different cliques. But I mean, if I see her around, I'll see her around. I had nothing against her. It was just the fact that she always had something to say about me on the phone, acting like I wasn't in the room. She would talk about me like I wasn't in the room. I would be asleep, and I know that she knew that I was listening in. She was like, Kara is going to get killed if she don't clean up her side, or if she don't clean up the nasty ass bathroom, even though I clean up after my shit. And I wrote a little note after she wrote that rude note, and I said, I do clean up my side of the room. It's just that I don't pick up anyone else's shit. So like, why should I do that? And it made me mad that she had a conversation with my suite mate about it. Why would you talk to the suite mate about it and not talk to me about it? Why? She's not your roommate. I am your roommate. If you got a problem with something, you come to me. You say, hey, I feel like we should take turns cleaning because the bathroom looks like shit. I'm going to be like, okay, I don't have any cleaning supplies, so, maybe we can share, or maybe I can buy some. Okay, that's cool. Don't talk to the suite mate who likely is the one making the whole mess in the bathroom and then blaming it on me when you spend like dirty ass minutes in the bathroom doing absolutely nothing. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. One time someone locked the bathroom all night. I couldn't get in. I needed to use the bathroom. It was locked. I thought maybe someone did it by accident. But then early that morning, I heard someone get up to use the restroom, and I'm like, of course, you locked the bathroom on purpose? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.